What's up, guys? Welcome back to Trash Film Home Video. Today I decided to do a longer video. We have the What's in the Box series. This is something I actually recorded as a What's in the Box episode, but decided that I should talk about the movie instead, because I think it's one that's not very well known. Not a lot of people talk about it. And I can see why, especially if you go into this movie thinking it's going to be a Friday the 13th or some typical, slasher movie. You're not getting that here. We're talking about Hell High today. Hell High. Look at that cover. Now, if that doesn't make you want to watch it, I don't know what will. And then we got this on the back, which once you see the movie, you know what this is all about. Hella High, 1989. It's got about a 4.95 out of 10 on IMDb, which honestly, IMDb seems to be pretty rough when it comes to rating films, so it's not too bad. This is, I believe, director Douglas Grossman's one and only film. He did a lot of TV work, if I'm not mistaken. And as Joe Bob Briggs likes to call this film, the slasher movie that isn't a slasher movie, that's probably the best way to describe it. Arrow does a decent job of kind of trying to get you in the right mindset here as to watching this. Teenage kicks take a decidedly dark turn in director Douglas Grossman's Hell High, a twisted tale of delinquency pushed to its horrifying extreme, where Class of 1984 meets I Spit on Your Grave. It's fairly accurate. The I Spit on Your Grave is a bit reaching because there's no actual you-know-what in it. There's somewhat of kind of an attempted you-know-what. Not going to say the word, but we all know what's in I Spit on Your Grave. Lots of what. Okay, yeah, that's what they're talking about. It doesn't actually happen. And the attempt isn't quite, it's nowhere near as explicit or awful as I Spit on Your Grave. Even though, if you're gonna make a movie called I'll Spit on Your Grave about a woman getting revenge after having that done, you better make that the crux of why she's getting revenge to be pretty awful. I find it more offensive in movies when they make those scenes like, meh, that's more offensive than making it actually explicit and ugly, because it actually is explicit and ugly. That's another day, that's another video. The original title was What Do You Want to Do Tonight? Which actually probably makes a little more sense for the movie, because it is just a bunch of bored teenagers trying to figure out what they want to do for the night. They decided to play a prank on Miss Storm. Miss Storm is their science teacher, played by Maureen Mooney, who does a pretty good job. She takes a kind of a single approach to the thing. It works. It's a little, I don't know the right word for it, but there is something in it that I'm not a super big fan of, or something in her performance, and I can't put my finger on it. The leader of the group, Dickens, played by Christopher Stryker, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a minute, really has a bone to pick with her. Does not like Miss Storm. You can tell that. And honestly, had Dickens not had such a weird obsession / vendetta against her, their night probably would have turned out a lot better. But then we wouldn't have a movie, right? We've got a gang of kids here. So we've got Dickens, the leader. We've got John, who's a former football player who's quit the football team and kind of decided to hang out with these kids. He is the moral compass. He's the one that's actually not a scumbag. We've got Queenie, played by Millie Prezioso, I believe I'm saying that right. And Jason Brill, who plays the comic relief of Smiler. And again, like I said, kids deciding what they want to do for the night. They decide to play a prank. Prank goes a little too far. Some things happen. The night gets worse and worse and worse. Let's see. It's, as Joe Bob said, it's the slasher film that's not really a slasher film. I mean, we really don't have a lot of slashing. Most of the slashing, and now for anyone that wants to check this out, please take this and listen. We only have 5 bodies. 5 people get it. Okay, 2 in the very beginning, and then the rest is kind of in the last 20 minutes, most in the last maybe 10. The rest of that is other stuff. And when you've got a horror film like that, where the majority of your money shots, right, are at the beginning and the end, you got to fill the rest with something pretty decent. And I think they do a really good job at that. It's because you've got really good actors playing your main 2 roles, which for me is John and Dickens. Dickens, who is played by Christopher Stryker, man, he was a talent. I say was because shortly after the filming, he got really sick. He had AIDS, and unfortunately, he passed away shortly after. But man, he delivers. If this guy had that not been his fate, I think we would probably see him and stuff to this day. I think he had a really unique look that people would have really liked, and he was a damn good actor. It's a real shame, honestly, because I really do think that he could have been somewhat of a star. And Christopher Cousins, who plays John, also does a really, really good job. He kind of has this job of playing the line. Like he's got to be the voice of reason, but he's also got to be a little wild because he's got to hang out with these guys. The other thing that I really enjoy about the movie is that this is just sort of a snippet. This is just one night in these kids' lives that goes wrong, and we get a pretty wild story. We don't find out why Dickens is such a psychopath. We don't get anything of his home life. We get a very small portion, and I mean small. We don't even see his mother. We hear her voice. We get a small snippet of John's life. And not even life, we just hear his mother's voice, basically. We get to see Queenie's room, but we don't see her parents. We don't know what kind of lives these kids lead. We just know what we get from this one night. And I kind of like movies like that. These days, everything needs to be explained to the nth degree, and it takes a lot out of stuff for me. It's not going to be for everybody. It's definitely not going to be for everybody. But I think if you're in the mood for something a little different, a different kind of slasher film, a slasher film with good acting, one that's also kind of wacky. I mean, it's kind of a wacky premise. It's like good and bad at the same time. I really like it. I've already mentioned that, there's not a lot of slashing show. You've got to like. If you're not into the story of it, you're probably not going to be into it. For me, the acting alone is good, and I just think this movie has got an interesting mood. It's got an interesting tone, and I really think that Christopher Cousins and Christopher Stryker are really the reasons to come see this movie, and the effects, because the kills that happen in this movie are very effective, very effective. They're the kind of effects that I like to see in movies. They're practical, and they're really effective, really effective. There is a kill scene at the end that, to this day, still makes me go, oof, and it always will. And it has to do with the sound design, but that's all I'm gonna say. I really enjoy this. I think more people need to check it out. I think more people need to give it a shot. I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it's a pretty damn good Blu-ray. Again, let's take a look at that. We got the slipcover here. This is embossed, and we got that on the back. This is going to be one of the original covers. There's Dickens there, there's John here, there's Smiler, and then we got Queenie, and there's Miss Storm. Another reason to pick this up. If you are a Joe Bob Briggs fan, he gives a introduction to the movie, which was, I don't know how, this isn't a new introduction. This is old. This is from Joe Bob's screening room. He actually looks really terrible in the introduction. He looks like he's dying. His face it looks like he hasn't slept in months. But he does a really great introduction to it. And we also get the archival Shriek Show Media Blasters DVD commentary, which is one of my favorite commentaries of all time. The transfer. Now, for me, the transfer looks amazing because it looked so bad on that DVD. So bad. It looks great now with this. What kind of a transfer did they do? New 2K from the camera negative. We also get commentaries from the director. I think there's 3 audio commentaries on here. We've got interviews with a recent interview with Douglas Grossman. We have a recent interview with Maureen Mooney. We have a recent interview with Christopher Cousins. We don't talk to Queenie. We don't talk to Smiler. We've also got some other stuff on here, archival stuff, old interviews, alternate opening title. We get a location featurette from Michael Gingold, who does a lot of those. Yeah, man, I don't know. There's probably, it's just males probably watching this, and but I don't know. Hopefully we get some female viewers. I don't know. I'd hope we get some female viewers at some point. Anyway, Hell Ha, highly recommended. If you're looking for a different kind of slasher, it's still technically a slasher film, but not really. A very well acted, a very different, interesting, kind of weird, not so slasher film. Hell Ha. I think you all ought to check it out. Anyway, thank you guys for sitting down with me for 10 minutes and listening to me yap about Hell Ha. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to do more of these kind of videos where I'm sitting here chatting. I was thinking earlier of I have done my Scream Factory collection. There's been a collection overview. I'm thinking of maybe going live though and doing maybe my arrows. I don't know. Who knows? But thanks for sitting down with me today. Appreciate you. Hope everybody has a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.